I'd like you to join me in welcoming the Parliamentary Secretary for Education, Inga Peulich.
Thank you very much, Lauren, and I'm delighted to join you this morning, and particularly delighted that that Lauren's had the opportunity of introducing me, because I understand as I walked into the conference that some years ago in my earlier iteration as a member of the Legislative Assembly of Bentley, I presented Lauren with a school prize, a school award, when she was at primary school. So it's great to see that she's done well and blooming, obviously, in the role. Could I acknowledge Val Johnson, the President of Early Childhood Intervention Australia Victorian Chapter, who's trying to tempt the sun, as well as Marlene Fox, President of the Early Childhood Australia Victoria Branch, Tim Moore, the Secretary, I understand, on the Executive for some 27 years, did you say? Secretary of ECIA VC, Senior Research Fellow at the Centre for Community Child Health. And he's particularly excited because he's the only male in the room. Well, no, there are two. There are three. You see, you get it wrong. And he was particularly excited because he was confident that come break time there wasn't going to be a very long queue in the men's loo. But and obviously, Lauren and ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the day will fine up, and that you'll not only find this day exhilarating and a valuable opportunity to network and to learn. And I used to be particularly excited about the PD opportunities as a teacher, that you'll also form some friendships and rekindle old ones, and maybe even kick on afterwards with a nice glass of Sauv Blanc or a cappuccino. It is obviously my great pleasure to represent the Honourable Wendy Lovell MP, Minister for Children and Early Childhood Development, at this Professional Development Day, and I've got the privilege of working with the three Ministers for Education across the system, so from early years right through adult. And I want to thank all of you here for the work that you do in your daily lives in support of Victorian children and families. I commend you for the help you provide parents as they navigate the challenges of raising a child with a disability or developmental delay. And I recall being involved in a family and community development inquiry back in 1994, an all-party inquiry, and I had the privilege of serving on that with the Honourable Caroline Hogg, who had been a minister. And at that time, one of the big challenges of all of the service provisions across the sector was fragmentation and the need to provide a seamless access to service. It seems to me those themes might be expressed in different ways, but they still remain challenges today, and particularly, obviously, in the disability and developmental delay area. Could I congratulate you for your ability to help these young Victorians to discover new strengths and abilities, and we know indeed this is where our challenge is, and this is the direction that education is taking across all age groups. As a result of your vital work, we're able to ensure that all Victorian children have the best chance to engage in learning and to... Oh, fourth one. And that was an in-house joke. And to grow up being healthy and strong. Your conference is occurring at an exciting time in early childhood intervention. I was speaking with Tim and looking at some of the challenges that lie ahead, especially with the NDIS trial, and the opportunity for the practitioners and the experts in the field to actually shape what comes out of that trial, of course, and that will no doubt transform the work that you do very substantially. I understand a joint position statement on the inclusion of children with a disability in mainstream services was launched at the National ECIA conference in Perth. I hope that it was a warmer affair, and that the paper will have a Victorian launch here this morning. The level of collaboration in your sector has always been strong. I believe now is unprecedented and hopefully just as inspiring. I want to congratulate Early Childhood Intervention Australia and Early Childhood Australia for the commitment to working together to ensure every child, regardless of the child's circumstances, has the best chance to reach his or her full potential. This is something the Victorian Government is committed to achieving through the reform of ECIS. I want to briefly talk to you about the specific issues regarding the ECIS reform project. As many of you are aware, the project was established to consider improvements needed to service the growing demand. The reform project was also designed to look at ways to reduce system fragmentation and to strengthen service quality. As I said, that seamless access seems to still be the elusive goal. It also addresses governance and accountability issues. However, with the proposed piloting of NDIS in 2013, it is premature to implement that significant reform to ECIS before the outcomes of that pilot are established. And this is, I guess, can be both exciting but also can be enormously frustrating to people who have devoted their professional time, their effort into, of course, getting to where you are now. This doesn't mean, obviously, that the whole range of system improvements cannot be progressed parallel to the NDIS pilot. For example, a key area of reform for ECIS will be the strengthening of interface with other support providers, and that's critical, obviously, to both areas. These include universal services and Commonwealth-funded programs, such as helping children with autism and Better Start. Importantly, ECIS will also be involved with monitoring and influencing the outcomes of the NDIS pilot. Once the pilot is completed, the full-scale implementation of ECIS reform project can then go ahead. I know that you may be frustrated by that, but you'll acknowledge the practicalities of the approach. Notwithstanding this position, I want to assure you that in a difficult budget time and environment, the government is committed to ensuring the maintenance of a strong universal care system for children living with a disability or with developmental delay. For example, we have committed to continuing the supported playgroup and parent group initiative. We're also continuing to build and strengthen the early childhood intervention workforce through a range of attractive scholarships, incentives and professional training opportunities. Round 1 of the 2012-2013 Early Childhood Intervention New Graduate and Rural Incentives, which provide up to, I think, $6,000 to successful applicants, is now open. Likewise, the Early Childhood Intervention Postgraduate Scholarship is also open. Now, as a country MP, I'm sure that the Minister would like me to encourage some of you to consider applying or to speak to people who may be suitable. Of course, encourage current early childhood intervention professionals, including preschool field officers and kindergarten inclusion support staff, to consider making that application. Another example of our commitment to your sector has been our work in improving the interface between ECIS and universal services. By strengthening the capacity of universal services, we ensure that children with a disability or with developmental delay can participate and be supported by the same range of services available to all children and all families. As you know, last year's state budget committed additional funding to ECIS. And just to highlight some, $10 million of new money was committed over 4 years to increase kindergarten inclusion support packages. And $8.2 million was committed to, over 4 years, to continue funding for 150 ECIS places and 150 flexible support packages. And of course, the funding complements our commitment to the National Disability Insurance Scheme pilot, which will benefit approximately 5,000 people in the Barwon South West region. Victoria has agreed to provide $290 million over a 3-year period from July 2013. Victoria will continue to play a leading role in the foundation reforms required to implement NDIS, such as working to deliver a national assessment tool and a quality and safeguard framework. As mentioned, the impact of the establishment of NDIS on the existing early childhood intervention service sector will be explored through the trial to ensure that services to families and children with a disability are not compromised. In conclusion, good timing. And on behalf of the Minister for Childhood and Children and Early Childhood, I would like to thank ECIA Victoria for your commitment to the ongoing professional development of the ECIS workforce. I also want to thank you for the work that you do in developing a resource to assist ECIS practitioners to engage with Victorian early years learning and development framework. Finally, I want to congratulate ECIA Victoria for facilitating today's event and for showcasing the latest thinking in Victorian and international practice. and I look forward to reading some of that on your website. And I understand that Tim's presentation is already on the website. I hope that you have an exciting and a stimulating day, and that indeed you take away a lot from it, but ultimately that the beneficiaries will be the people, the children, the families whose lives you have worked to improve, and of course hopefully who will be able to look to a better and brighter future in order to reach their potential as much as we can support it, and of course to make sure that they enjoy all of the benefits that children and people of all abilities do in Victoria and in Australia. So with those few words, congratulations on the work that you've done. Thank you for the work that you do, and hopefully today will be an exciting day for the future as well. Thank you.